And we are live. Welcome to ESC Fan TV. I'm your host, Stuart Wilders. As always, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much for supporting ESC Fan TV. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Click the like for today's show. We're going to have a great show today. What are we going to be talking about? We are going to be discussing Eesti Laul. Eesti Laul Semi-final One took place earlier today. We all thought it was later than it actually was scheduled. It turns out it was 5 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Central European time. So most of us nearly missed it. Managed to watch it on the recap. Who have we got on the show with us today? We have from London Vision, we have Andy Brooke.
Guten Abend.
Guten Abend. We have from London, from Manchester Calling, we have... sorry, Jason. We have Jason Darcy.
Hello. How are you?
my mind went blank for a second. We have Joanne.
For a second.
Hi.
Yeah, just for a second. We're from the Let Me Be the One blog and radio show. We have Martin Palmer.
Hello, everyone.
And we have Tristan.
Hello there.
So, what did we think of tonight's show? It was a couple of hours plus a break and then another 30 minutes of faffing. No one had a bloody clue what was going on with the voting. Turns out we ended up with six qualifiers. We all thought it was 4. Then we thought it was another 4. And then another 2 were added to the end. Who knows what was going on? Only the Estonians. We're going to start with Martin. Martin, the Swingers. Don't Google that. High Heels in the Neighborhood. What do we think of that song?
Well, overall, I think that was probably one of the best ones this evening for performance, for singing, but then you'd probably expect that with Brigitte and Tanya, both ex-Eurovision singers, professionals, been in the business for ages. Great, they sold it really well. Obviously, you've got to like that sort of music, that sort of song, but I don't think they did anything wrong. I think when I saw it, I thought definite finalists. I think they probably got a real chance for Tel Aviv because Estonian public really loved their established artists. We had Koit, Toma and Laura, and no fans gave them a chance, but they were ahead in the public vote all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if the Swingers are going to be there or thereabouts in the final.
Yeah, that could very well be. Jason, were you a fan of the Swingers?
I was indeed, actually. I think Martin's right. I think they will actually win. I think that it's a strong enough song. They're very good vocalists. There's a theme this year of artists coming back again. Please God, not Daz Sampson. It's also got that fantastic Sunstroke project, going on as well. They like that in Eurovision. It's a nice polished production. I think it's going to do quite well.
It needs a big stage, though. I thought the stage was really small for.
I think the whole venue was quite small, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's very. Is it the same venue for all 3 shows?
No, this is in Tartu, and it's in a sports arena. But the final is going to be at the Saku Surhol in Tallinn, which is where most of the Eesti Laul finals are, and that's a lot bigger. So.
Which is where we met, Stuart.
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
Good memories, Andy. So, for me, I thought it felt a bit dated. You could say, there's great chemistry between Tanya and Birgit for sure. Guys behind the piano, playing the piano behind the cello. It was a good trumpet solo. What can you say about the Swingers? It went through. So, yeah, clearly the Estonians loved it. Marko Kaar with the song Smile. Andy, he was in a black leather jacket with jeans, had 4 backing dancers. Choreography was a bit on the dodgy side, I think it's fair to say. What did you make of that?
I thought it was the most amateur act of the night. The boy's smile is very, very, very odd. He's a bit sinister looking, if you ask me. The dancers were... just amateur. I don't think it went through, and I don't think it deserves to.
Marko Kaar smile. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. It wasn't particularly very good live. Going to come to Martin, and just going to ask you about Marko Kaar. What were you expecting this one to qualify?
Well, personally, no, because I didn't even really like the studio version. The bits that we saw before the live. Anyway, his voice, his live vocals. I'm not sure whether it's a bit off or whether that's just the way he was singing, but I didn't like it, and he sounded a bit breathy. And as he was going around, he seemed to be concentrating on his routine more so than his vocals. So, you know, I wasn't surprised that it didn't come anywhere at all. I don't think it was barely mentioned. It wasn't mentioned as one of the jurors' favourites, or, you know, and obviously didn't qualify. So.
Did anyone actually have this one as one of the qualifiers to go as they were going into this semi-final? I did. I thought this might do rather well. Turns out it didn't. Tristan, what was your thoughts on Marko Kaar?
It sort of grows on me, and it was in my top 6, both when I first heard it, when we just heard the videos, and today as well. I had it in 5th place. His voice gets really annoying when he has those sort of like that high bit where he keeps going high, and it does grate a little bit. It's a sort of like Benjamin Ingrosso type song, bit like a Melody Festival and Rejects song that didn't sort of like quite make the cut. I quite liked it, and I'm quite disappointed it didn't go through, because it was of the male singers, it was my favourite. But yeah.
And just pause there a second, just to say thanks for those that have joined us in the chat room. Don't forget to send your questions through. Make sure you click the like button on the show today, and also make sure you subscribe. The third song of the night was "Hold Me Close" by Emily J with Extra Basic. Joanne, was this song a bit basic for you?
Yeah, I didn't think I just didn't think she'd get through. Surprised that they did. I didn't like the choreography. Thought that was a bit awkward. Thought that she wasn't sort of singing that well, a little bit off key. And to be honest, my only notes at the beginning, when it was on, was nah. So I just thought that's not going to go through, and it did, and I'm really surprised. Yeah,
I must admit I was quite surprised actually. Although the song itself actually is rather good, but actual live, I thought it was poorly executed. The choreography was pants as well, quite frankly. Jason, are you going to play this at Magic Calling?
Absolutely not. Basically, it was a car crash because they were all over the place. There was no stage presence. God knows what they were wearing. It was a sale at Primark, surely. It was awful. It was really, how that got through, I don't know. All over the place.
Big surprise, actually. Was anyone in the group that actually thought, yeah, I had that as a qualifier?
Me. No, but is she well known?
I don't know. It certainly doesn't seem to. Tristan, you had it as a qualifier.
I had it as, in fact, it was the only one of my top that actually qualified. The only one. I did 6th, but it's the only one. My top 5 didn't qualify.
Let us know in the chat room if you had this one as a qualifier. I think it seems to have surprised us all. Extra Basic and Emily J, Hold Me Close, qualifies for the final. Song 4, Johanna Endra with Mix Sa Tidmi. Personally, I wasn't a massive fan of this. Keen to know what my panel think. Martin, what did you make of this one?
Well, this was one of my favourites before going into the show, because I really loved her voice, and it was one to sort of really listen to. And she started off okay this evening, but then she started to do a routine and move round, and that seemed to make her vocals go a bit downhill as the show went on. And really, you know, there was male backing. This happened a couple of times throughout the show, that having either a woman singing with a man's voice or a man singing with a woman's backing didn't seem to gel very well. And this was one of the occasions here. And obviously not enough people got on board to actually see her through. I think if she had nailed her vocal, she might have stood a chance, but she didn't tonight.
And Tristan, what was your take on this?
This is the only song I had which I thought was in the bottom 6, and in fact was in the bottom 6. So I agreed with the Estonian public there. I really didn't. I thought it was going to take me somewhere. It started, it was building up nicely, and then it just sort of peters out and becomes very boring. You're really sort of expecting there to be some kind of drum and bass beat to sort of like kick in halfway through, and it never happens. And it just reminded me of another song, which I can't remember what it is, but it was no. I didn't like it, and I wasn't expecting it to go through, and it didn't.
I've written here, felt a bit like Johanna from Iceland. Is it true? I thought she looked like Johanna. I thought it was really weird. She was wearing all blue as well. I mean, the whole thing was a bit sort of, yeah, it was a bit retro. Iceland from back in the day. Johanna. Wow. I mean, it could very well have been Johanna for me. Did anyone else get that? Or was that just me? Just me. Great. Excellent. Right. Song 5. Moving on. Stefan. Sat on a piano. Without You. For me, great voice, great ballad. I'm keen to hear what my panel think. Andy, what did you make of Stefan?
Okay, so I wasn't expecting to particularly like this. I thought it was going to be just another boy singing another song. But as soon as I saw him sat at the piano, I thought that's going to be different. It was great. I really liked it. He delivered the song very well. It's got an actually quite a nice but simple theme and message. And I was very pleasantly surprised and not at all surprised he went through.
Certainly seemed the more polished song of the first 5 for me and performance. Joanne, were you a fan of this?
Yeah, I did like it. I thought during the studio version, I thought, song's a bit beige, may get through, may not.
Yeah.
Honestly, he sang it. He really did. And yeah, as Andy said, at the piano, just nice, had a lovely feel to it. Came across really well. Definitely a qualifier. Yeah, I'm really glad he did.
Yeah. Has that come a bit out of left field? I mean, could that potentially challenge?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could do. Yeah, could do.
Yeah. And Andy, do you see that as a potential challenger for the win in Estonia?
Well, given that we don't know who are the big stars, or I don't know who are the big stars, if it was an even playing field, I would say yes, definitely. He was the best or the second best tonight.
Song 6, big fan favourite, Sandra Nurmsalu, formerly of Urban Symphony, back in 2009. The song Suvidi Poo. She was dressed in white. Insert humorous comment here.
So, Stuart, sous vide is boiling the bag.
Yes, I know.
So you're talking about boiling the bag poo.
Well, that's how it's pronounced.
Fair enough.
Sous vide poo. There you go.
That sums it up, really.
Oh, well, I think that's cruel. I really like this. But who cares what I think? Martin, what did you make of sous vide poo?
Well, Sandra never puts a foot wrong vocally, ever. Admittedly, it's all very much the same how she sings it, but it's absolutely spot on tonight. Incredible voice, delivered it brilliantly. Like the little touch of the animated tree on the TV. So yeah, I think it was more of a surprise to me that it took until the last lot of televoting to actually put her through. I'd have thought she'd have gone through as the first 4. But yeah, I'm not surprised that she's in the final. Whether it will be a winner, I'm not sure. I think there's probably other things that the Estonian public will go for. But then she's a returner. As I said before, Estonians love to vote for the people that they recognise. She could win again. It's a possibility. Yeah,
she was drawn out of the vote on the 5th or 6th, I think the 5th. But then again, who knows what they were doing in the voting? She could have won it for all we know. I was completely stumped. Anyway, Sandra Nurmsalu, Tristan, I know you were a fan from a previous show. Did this lead up to your expectations?
No, it was my favourite of the semi-final in the previous show. I like her voice. I found it a little bit repetitive again, the tune, but her voice is absolutely lovely. It was, yeah, I mean, and I just like the production of this song as well. The music is just beautifully put together. I was sure it'd get through, but it wasn't in my top 6, mainly because I really liked my top 6. I only just missed my top 6. But I did have it originally in my number 1 before going into the show. So I'm surprised after tonight it wasn't in my top 6, to be honest.
Do we know how old she was back in 2009? Does anybody know? Because I'd love to know what skin cream she uses. She hasn't aged at all, has she? Given that we're talking we're talking 10 years She still looks as fresh-faced as she was back in 2009.
She's only, according to Wiki, she's only 30 now. So
yeah,
so,
young people. So I thought that, I mean, that qualified. It was drawn out of the fifth vote. We don't know if it could have come first. It could have come sixth. Who knows? 6 songs qualified. Number 7 was Jennifer Cohen with Little Baby L. What did we make of this one? Let's go to Joanne.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she qualified. I really did. She didn't do a bad performance. She wasn't sort of outstanding, but she didn't do a bad performance. And used the dancers on stage, and it's a nice. Certainly, the studio version, I thought was really good. Apart from that, I mean, I guess it's because there were 6 better ones on the night as to why she didn't qualify. That's the only thing I can think of with her. But she was the one person that I thought would and hasn't.
Yeah, this is a bit contemporary American pop for me, sort of in the sort of vein vibe of Ariana Grande. It's actually written by Chris Hierra, Robert L. Smith, who have worked with Lady Gaga. So I was expecting something a bit better. I don't think she performed it that well, and the choreography was really poor. Jason, was this a popular one with you?
I liked it. I like the sort of electronic reggae beat it went through. That was quite a nice thing to hear. She looked a bit lost with the dancers on stage. She sort of blended in with them. And where's she gone? And then, now and again, one would have something on the microphone, and the other one, I don't know. It looked a bit all over the place. Really, it was a bit. But vocally, I thought she was pretty good. But I think I kind of liked it, but I wouldn't have voted for it. So probably why she didn't go through. Somewhere in the middle for me.
Yeah. Okay, that was Jennifer Cohen with Little Baby L. Sally didn't qualify. We move on to Sophia Rubina-Hunter featuring Yannicka 10, the song Deep Water. Dated dance track, question mark. I'm going to Andy. What did you make of this one?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Brooke.
Right. I was just consulting my notes. Right. So the thing about this song for me is that it has the sort of sound that Estonian and Finnish music of this era has. And I particularly like that. However, it's probably not right for a Eurovision stage. And I wasn't at all surprised it didn't go through. But I was surprised you were asking me about it. So,
well, if you'd got the memo, you would know.
I know. Sack me.
I will. It's your own fault. Martin, did you like Sophia, and did you like Deep Water? Or was she in Deep Water with you?
Yeah, I didn't like it when I heard it originally from the studio version, and I didn't particularly like it tonight. She's got a very theatrical sounding voice, but the way she was singing in English was quite odd, and she had the vocal gymnastics that got very annoying. It meant I wasn't listening to the intro, just listening to her going up and down scales. And she also did the classic trying to get the crowd involved and nobody responded, which you then know that she's onto a loser. So I was more surprised because she was one of the first 4 names picked out, and we were going, does that mean she's gone through? And I
know, who knew?
And I was just going, oh God, what, she's gone through? But obviously I think that might have been the jurors saying their favourites.
I think it was a who has the best hat competition.
Yeah,
it could have been anything different. It was who had the best hats.
Yeah, so no, she wasn't for me, and I'm not surprised that she didn't go through. So
no, non-qualifier. We move to song number 9 with the song Wed with Uelos. No idea what it's about. I'm sure someone will tell me. It was a bit chant-like in terms of lyrics, a bit Icona pop in style. For me, fresh, modern, fun, electric house. Joanna, what did you think of this?
I didn't really. They were colourful, and to be honest, they looked good. They looked good on there, didn't they? It was listenable. Not surprised it didn't qualify. A little bit of quite fresh, but again, nothing different for me personally. I think there was something that needed to stand out there, and of course, they're probably not well known, so Again, not surprised didn't qualify.
Got a bit trippy halfway through, didn't it? With the whole sort of eyes and lips on the screen.
Yeah, I just thought to myself, you know what? Let's move on to the next one. I got to that point when I thought, oh, can I fast forward it slightly? And I was sort of only half listening to it, so to speak. So, yeah, it didn't hold my interest.
Did you see the bit where they kind of turned to each other and the lady with the blonde hair started laughing or started smirking? I think he's all right, what are we doing here? I thought this was a good idea. ESC NL in the chat room says low quality songs show this year from Estonia. And he's asked a question that we'll cover at the end of today's show. Tristan, what did you make of this one?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was. It's funny enough. I didn't like it so much going into tonight. Tonight it's such a fun song. It reminds me of Charlie XCX and Icona Pop and all those sort of like quite fun, bouncy songs. I really thought this would qualify. I'm really surprised that they didn't have more special effects because if you remember, the older girl, I'll tell you her name in a minute, Christel Iceland. She's the one who dressed up as a cartoon in the 2016 Estonian final and came, I think, second or third. It was that really sort of quite crazy one where they have. That was really good.
About your knowledge, Tristan, I can't go back that far. Yeah. But I'll take your word for it.
Having seen the video of OED which had lots of special effects and Instagram filters and stuff like that, I just thought they'd be doing a lot more effects on screen, knowing what she has done in the past. But in the end, it was just the two of them dancing around and then that trippy bit at the end. I think they could have done more, and I think she should have got through, and I'm surprised she didn't because obviously one of them has already reached the final of Eesti Laul a few years ago. Really sad that didn't go through. That spoilt the night for me, really.
Yeah, no, I thought it would actually. When they were calling that last song, I thought it was fully expecting it to be this one, but it wasn't. Song 10, Victor Krone of Storm, who's previously participated in Melody Festivalen. This song, for me, was sound inspired by the sadly departed Avicii. I really like this song. Not sure I really like him. I'm not sure he really pulls it off. Certainly the high notes were a struggle. Andy, what did you make of this song, Victor Krone, Storm?
Okay, well, so first of all, it was written by Stig, who represented Estonia in 2015. He struggled with his voice in 2015 on a really quite easy to sing song. So I'm not at all surprised that he didn't try to sing this because he just wouldn't have been able to pull it off. So Victor made a couple of mistakes, but I think with a bit more experience of singing this particular song, he would be all right. But it really, really needs a fantastic singer because it's a great song. In my book, it's the best song of the night. The staging was very good. And what I most liked was at the end of the song, instead of everything going absolutely wild, you got this big, grey, stormy background. And I liked that. I thought that worked extremely well. So I think this will win the whole thing. And I think it will do very, very well. Probably not win in Tel Aviv because I don't think he's quite a good enough singer.
And Tristan, do you concur with that?
No, I'm afraid I don't like it really, mainly because it reminds me so much of Ariana Grande's One Last Time. That One Last Time.
Yes.
I said that last time.
Yeah. I wonder where I got that. No, you're right.
My head, and it's and when I get things like that in my head, I then sort of turn off. Probably I'm being a bit too picky because so many songs have got borrowing from other bits, but this is just so obvious for me. It was okay, country and western style, but again, not fantastic, and was nowhere near my top 6.
And song 11, nearly there with the 12. Ranel was Supernova. Had everything in this song. We had sparkles. We had a big green dress. We had naked dancers in green, sticky, shiny paint on stage. Jason, were you a fan of this one, or will you be playing it at Manchester Calling?
I will be playing it. I'd like to hear the English version of that, actually, if there is one. It tries a little bit too hard, I think. It's trying to do too much at once. It's too kind of in your face. The dancers are quite nice, but I think if you put dancers on stage, sometimes it draws away from the actual song. You know, look at Russia last year when they put the beautiful blonde-haired dancer right at the front of us, and so we could scream where she was right at the back and singing an awful song. So yeah, it's an okay song. Did it get through? I can't remember if this one got through.
No.
I don't think it did. No, it was just trying too hard. I think it wasn't quite hitting the mark.
It felt to me like someone had just taken a mid-tempo song and sped it up. Ranel Supernova. Martin, was this on your top 6?
No, it wasn't. Although her vocals were actually better live, and I liked them more than when I listened to the studio version of this, because it seemed as though they'd made the music more overpowering her vocals, whereas it wasn't so much tonight. And her voice isn't too bad, but it didn't seem to really mesh with the music, and the staging was all a bit weird with the 2 guys with the glitter balls. And they were it just sort of seemed fairly cheap in a way. But then I think because of the venue, I think everyone was sort of going that way, apart from Victor Krone, as Andy was mentioning. That seemed to be the sort of one spectacular graphics of the night. But yeah, so yeah, nice enough song, but I think really tonight was a bit of filler. So.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of looked at the Victor Krone song and staging, and you sort of think, well, maybe that's the song that Estonian TV want to send, because they really threw everything at it. This, not so much. So, Ranel Supernova, yeah, non-qualifier. Song 12, Inga with Coming Home. Young chap with his ukulele strumming along. What do we make of this one, Joanne?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed, and I think I was, well, you guys know, because I was messaging it. I was really shocked that this got through. Definitely one of my non-qualifiers. He just didn't sing it very well, and I have no idea what he sang at one point during the chorus. It was like, I don't know what he was trying to achieve. Obviously something different, but, you know, I suppose, yeah, very Marmite, isn't it? You know, that's all I'm going to say on that one. Not a fan. Not a fan.
It sounded a lot like the song that came second for Denmark last year, also with the ukulele. Do you remember the little girl in the pajamas that was kind of strumming along?
Yes.
Oh,
what was that called? Starlight.
Yeah.
I'm sure no one will forget that. I actually really like that song. I think the right song won last year.
I did as well. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, for Denmark, that is. Estonia. So 24 appearances, 15 finals. Last year they came 8th, of course, with Alina with La Forza. Out of the 6 qualifiers, are there any potential troublemakers in Tel Aviv? Are they songs that potentially could be top 8 or better, Andy?
Yeah, definitely. Storm.
Storm.
Oh, and also Without You.
Without You, Stefan. Yeah, I'd go as far as Stefan.
Either of those, but it just depends how many people are trying to do a Nathan Trent, because there might be half a dozen songs all very similar in Tel Aviv, in which case probably none of them do very well.
Joanne, have you seen any of these 6 doing really well in Tel Aviv?
Yeah, definitely Storm. I think he's got to improve his vocals. He'll have time. I think he could. Yeah, I think that's going to be the winner. I really do. Jason?
Storm's definitely going on my playlist. As soon as I heard that one, I thought I like that one. So I think that's going to be the one.
Tristan, you see any of these 6 doing really well?
I think Sandra Nurmsalu will do well. And I quite like Extra Basic as well, but I don't know if that would do necessarily very well at the song contest if it won. But Sandra Nurmsalu, I'd say, could end up easily top 10.
And finally, Martin, can you see any of these 6? Troubling the scoreboard come May.
I must admit, I did like Stefan, and I think that Stefan was, for me, one of the highlights of this evening. If you wanted something to stand out, and it probably won't be anything like it, you'd go for the Swingers, but whether they'd actually do much at Eurovision, probably not. But it might be good enough to push Estonia into the final. But yeah, I'd probably go for Stefan over everybody else, just based on tonight's performances, anyway.
I take issue with that, Martin. The Swingers, you can't have the Swingers going to Eurovision, because you have all these people then Googling the Swingers and putting the Swingers into YouTube, and it will become a massive disaster all the way around. No to the Swingers. I do think Sandra has potential. And I would probably go as far to agree with the guys on Storm. But I'm not sure he can sing it. I think the song's maybe too big for him. But let's see. So, of course, on Saturday's show, Tom will be back and he'll be taking everyone through the second semi-final of Eesti Laul. But before we get on to Saturday's show, let's move our attention to Denmark. So today, the Danish songs were released. All 10 songs were released onto the Danish broadcaster's website. You'll now find them on various YouTube pages. We're not going to go through each of them individually. There's no time this evening, but I am going to go to each of my guests and ask them to tell me who their favourites are in Denmark. And I'm going to start with Tristan. Tristan, who are your favourites this year?
Well, my favourite has to be, and it's so beautiful, the song by Leonora. Absolutely, I was actually crying at the end of it. I love the fact that it's in French as well, and lots of other languages, but absolutely beautiful song. It's just it just got to me. She's an ice skater, which is why on the video you can see an ice skating, but she's actually an ice skating teacher. Not really a big singer. I think she hasn't even made an album yet. But beautiful voice, beautiful song. For me, this could win the whole thing.
Ooh, big expectations.
I love it. And then second, again, I loved it. I love this. Julie and Nina, their song League of Light. Half of it's in Greenlandic. Which is exciting. I don't think we've had Greenlandic before at the contest. Lovely song. I read some of the lyrics translated. It's all about the relationship between Greenland and Denmark and communities, and how they're so similar but yet so different, and how we should maybe build more of a bridge between Denmark and Greenland. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's really anthemic, as I said. Lovely video as well, with all that amazing Greenland countryside. Not that would be shown on night. So that's my second favourite. And then third favourite, I've got Jasmine Gabai, which was, I think, the second song. That's fun. It's sort of that reggaeton sound, which can get on your nerves a bit, but it's quite fun hearing it from another country that isn't Spain, having a go at reggaeton, with a few sort of like Spanish bits thrown in, and quite naughty lyrics as well about rattlesnakes, whatever that means, down below. It was fun. It was fun, and it's in my top three. And there were really only those top three. I quite like Lilo as well in fourth place for me, which was okay, but it was a bit funky and everything. But really, just those top three are the ones for me.
Sounds like you found a fair few there, Tristan. I was scratching around for one.
So much more enjoyed this than the others.
Fair enough.
And Estonia.
Jason, you got any favourites in Denmark?
I found them mostly to be quite bland this year. There was two that stood out for me. It was Simone, Everywhere, and Sigmund with Say My Name. That's the only two I could get excited about, really. Say My Name, yeah. Sounded a bit Lady Gaga mixed with Destiny's Child there. And he looks a bit bonkers, so that might work. Yeah, could do. Joanne, did you have any favourites in Denmark?
Only Julie and Nina. League of Light, that's the only one for me that sort of stands out. I just find them all very samey, and they're the same songwriters as what they've used in the UK as well. And you know, there's just nothing there, and there's certainly no Rasmussen, are they? So I can't see past last year, to be honest, because I thought the world of him, and I thought he was going to win. So,
although the Danish final last year was one of the top finals for me. It was really well staged.
It was fab, absolutely fantastic, and it's just such a come down this year, really is. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not going, put it that way. So, you know.
Yeah, good job we haven't got Nicholas on the panel this evening.
Yeah, bless him.
We'll get his take on Saturday. He'll be on the panel on Saturday. Andy, have you got any favourites in Denmark this year? Any songs you think
with the Sweet
well?
Song, which I think is the one that Tristan liked. Yeah. The melodic song. Other than that, they all sounded exactly the same as one another. I mean, it could have just been one song, and for that reason, I think she'll win. And as Tristan says, could do very, very well.
We have got a case of songwriters being brought in again here. Lisa Cabell, who wrote the winner in 2013, Only Teardrops, who you may remember from the previous show, has written Sweet Lies in the UK. We've also got who's the American lady? What's her name? Somebody help me out. Laura Barker.
Laura Barker.
And she's written one of the other songs in the UK. I think she might have written Bigger Than Us. Is that right? Yeah, Bigger Than Us. So you've got another mix of international songwriters.
No, sorry, Tristan, they're only international to us. We borrowed Danish songwriters.
She's not Danish. She's American.
She's based in Denmark.
She's American.
She's based in Denmark.
Okay, she's based in Denmark.
It's just that the UK doesn't go to. We went to Sweden for one set of songs. We went to Denmark for another set of songs.
Why did we go to Denmark when Sweden have the better success rate?
I don't know, but Denmark has obviously given us their cast-offs. But you're right, they sound so similar. Similar productions as well.
Well, I'll go as far as to say I think we got the better selection. I think we must have paid a bit more because I think they're better than some of the songs here.
Very just.
Yeah, and finally coming to Martin. Martin, have you got any favourites here?
Yeah, I must admit, Julie and Nina, League of Light, listening to them for the first time was probably my favourite. It sounds, I think it could be made really huge and epic. You've got good vocals and harmonies. I think that, for me, I'd like to see that one win. The other ones that did stand out, just purely one for the voice, one for how it, tempo. Rasmus Fartok, Hold My Breath, which I think that could be a really, really good, powerful performance with his voice alone. That was the only reason I picked out. And Step It Up as well, just purely because it's probably going to be a fun one to listen to. And it catchy as anything, but it is really Julie and Nina. League and Light was the one that stood out for me.
For me, I also like Julie and Nina. I think that probably will win. But I've been playing on repeat Jasmine Gabai's Kiss Like This. Ooh, la 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 Latino, because I've never had a kiss like this. Play that enough times, you will remember every single word. Fantastic. But hopefully that'll do well. Fuego.
I agree.
Yeah, we had a comment actually on our Instagram page. We asked, what was your favourite song out of the Estonian selection? And somebody came back. The answer is Fuego. It's the only answer that matters. There you go. So that's our show for this evening. Just to summarise, we've picked our 6 winners in Estonia, and we think that the Nordic song sung by Julie and Nina, League of Light, is going to win in Denmark.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. The majority counts. The majority rules. That's what we believe. Right, going to go to the chat room quickly. We're going to have a final look at the chat room. Do you guys have any expectations for the Netherlands or Belgium this year? Who should we come to? I guess you're going to have to put your hands up if you want to answer this. Martin, you were sort of making a comment there, or making a noise at least.
Making a noise, yeah. I mean, obviously, it could go anyway, really. Belgium seem to have the knack of taking sort of relative unknown singers and giving them a really good song, and they do have a really good placing with it. Blanche, she had some cover versions that we were able to listen to, gave her City Lights, and she got 4th. The Netherlands, he's obviously got more of a backstory because he was the Voice Holland, and I played one of his previous songs under his name, Duncan de Moore, which is his birth name, on the show this week, and it's really great, good song. But what the demo that was on YouTube sounded totally different. So again, no idea which way it's going to go. So, but they tend to be relatively solid, decent songwriters, decent performances. So I suspect Belgium and, I would like to think Belgium and Netherlands would be in the final, but then we thought Senek was going to easily get there this year. So
I think it depends whether they're peaked by now. They both came from absolutely nowhere and got to the sort of place that Croatia used to get to and Estonia would get to, a 5th and a 6th place, and everybody goes, "Wow, they're going to win," and then they fall back again because for some reason the dynamism goes, and then it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah, and to sort of close this off, today's show, we've had 4 songs released so far. Are any of those 4 you're thinking, yeah, this could potentially win Eurovision? Have we had any potential winners yet?
Czech
Republic.
It's lovely. It could be so terrible because it has all the hallmarks of a Swedish overproduction, but they haven't done that. It's a young boy, so question is, can he sing live? If you can sing live and pull that off with a very nice, simple production, that could really do very well.
Quite a cute song. It's a very nice song, actually.
Yeah, it is, Martin. Yeah.
I've said at the end of the French national final that I think we will be surprised by how potentially well Bilal Hassani will do, and I think that could build towards Tel Aviv and towards May, just purely through social media, through connection across the Eurovision, not just in France. And I think he's going to do a lot better. Winner, don't know, but I think he's probably going to be a decent French performance anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do badly. I think he'll do rather well. A lot better than people think.
Spain as well. I actually do think that, especially when he won, and there was so much on Twitter, everyone loved him, everyone was singing the song, everyone was happy. I think if they want a feel-good factor, Spain. Not to win, but,
Come to Tristan.
Yeah, I'll just round it off by making it a full four of them. I think Albania, simply because it's a great song. It's the best song in the FIK, I thought. And you can never tell with Albania because they remaster it. They're going to remaster it so much in the studio, as they always do almost every time. We're going to end up with hopefully not a different song, but a song that sounds completely different. Not that the original song is that bad, and it could be a belter. And she's got a great voice. It's a great song, and it just needs a little bit more work. And we know the Albanians can do that very well.
So there you have it. We think all the songs are going to win Eurovision, which probably means they're all going to fail miserably. What have we got coming up over the next week? So Saturday night at 9 o'clock UK time, 10 o'clock Central European time, we have our Melody Festival and show with host Tom. He'll also be covering off the Eesti Laul second semi-final. Then we've got over the next week, we've got the UK final. We're probably going to have a show straight after the UK final. I'll be lucky enough to go. I think Joe's coming along as well. And also Jason's going to be there. So a few of us will be there. Hopefully we're trying to have a show straight after. And then don't forget the morning of the Saturday. I hope the police are not coming for me. The morning of the following Saturday, of course, is Australia Decides, 10:30 a.m. Central European time. The 10 great songs for Australia. And next week's show, we'll try and round off the songs that we haven't covered yet that will be released by the middle of next week. So don't
forget this Saturday morning. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Don't forget this Saturday morning we've got Moldova's rehearsals, and they are always such fun.
Yes, thank you, Tristan. I'll put that in my diary.
To get up?
11 o'clock Moldovan time, I think. So I think that might be 9 o'clock. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm there.
I'll save mine for Australia the following weekend. But thank you, Tristan. Good to know.
Okay.
Final point in the chat room. Thanks for everyone that's joined in and asked questions. Final question from Karina, or final point is she thinks France is going to win Eurovision. Thanks, Karina. And thank you to ESC Netherlands as well. And the others that have made points, we'll make a comment to them on YouTube. Like our YouTube page, please. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're growing rapidly. We really thank you for your support. It's really appreciated. And we're going to keep going right through Eurovision season. And we will hopefully take you all the way to Tel Aviv and beyond. All I can say is thank you very much to my guest. I'd like to thank the wonderful Jason. Jason, when's your next party? Quick plug.
23rd of February, Manchester Bar Pop.
And where can I book tickets or pay for tickets?
www.mrdarcyentertains.co.uk.
There you go, spot on. And thank you to London Vision, who came second place in this year's contest. Andy Brooke.
Hi, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you to Joanne.
Bye.
Thank you to Tristan.
Thank you very much. Bye.
And thank you to Martin Palmer of course, the Let Me Be the One blog and radio show.
Thank you very much. See you again soon.
So don't say I don't plug you as best I can. I did an extra effort tonight, especially as I got Jason's name wrong at the start. So I thought I'm going to try and redeem myself somehow. Thank you all for joining me. It's been absolutely wonderful. I won't be here on Saturday. I'll get my red card for the weekend and get a night off. But do tune in for Tom, 10 o'clock Central European time. We will review the 7 Melody Festival entries, and we will discuss with you who our winners and losers were. Until then, goodbye. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Cheerio.
Bye.